that absorption at what it is. Yeah, exactly at 4700. Oh wait, happened. So Chris, I'm just following you today. I'm scalping. I'm sorry for that because we missed a really long move from the 80, 70, where it comes from. Yeah, look here, 70, 30 points. 30 points move up. 30 points move up. As well, very nice to see on the SPY when you're following the price dynamics. When that happens, that's exhaustion. The price must retreat, or the buyers, we need more buyers to lift the offer, as you know, and that means exhaustion. That means that the price is most likely to come down a little bit, but it's still, everything is bullish here. Although I'm quite pretty sure these are the fangs who are driving. Let me see here the NQ. High volume traded into 4700. Interesting to see a small divergence here. Oh, yeah, it's gone. Very small one. Selling, they're buying everything. So there's really no stop. You see that the nice divergence. Excuse me. Here between this point and that point here. But that can change, because if they are really want to buy everything, that's meaningless to see. They can't jump in and buy everything from here. So what now? Any ideas? That was you see, very nice on the price dynamics. Very high volume traded, very high volume traded, and you can imagine that's kind of divergence. Even if you don't have the MVP or whatever you might have, you will see that as well. This is the volume here is higher at that point at 12:05 and instead of what is this, L12, it doesn't matter, 12:15. So high volume here, but it's still everything bullish. Everything is bullish right now. It looks bullish. They must break 01 or 24. Yes, I would like. So just it's up to you whether we should discuss the documentation, the few points again into the in the documentation, just to to discuss. There's still few pages we should take and we should go through to complete the documentation as well. I don't know if you are in the mood or maybe you are tired, whatever. So I just don't have anything else to say based on this price action here. We reached the 4700, which is a crucial area for this market. Hard to say what's going on here, if they are really trading will stop here, because what makes me a little bit more you see this big liquidity at 1519. I mean, they can cancel it before the close. Before the close, so they can't cancel it. That may be a fake, but it's still in the book. 1519 is still in the book, and the price is still moving down. We see 15. Really not no no strong signals here. Everything is up. So the question is, I don't see any reason to go long here. I mean, what I can do is simply going blind long here. Yeah, we can jump into and hoping then for more points for higher prices.
Yeah, it's risky.
Yeah, it's risky as like this VIX and volatility is doing also like really weird things already.
It's
starting to topping. But the squeeze will be like quite a little. It doesn't make the effort like to go long right now.
Yeah, that's my issue here. I mean, they are going long on low volume. That's very clear. You see that?
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. As you saw, like 4,700, there was one iceberger, like there was one guy sitting on the ask and refreshing, and then they took it really easily. So you can't do anything. So maybe if to go back to the course, maybe can we go a little bit over the gold and crude oil in terms of DID?
Yes, we can do so, but we need a good example. Oh yeah, we have here one. What's this? This is gold.
Yeah, exactly.
Ah, good point. So let's. I think it wasn't. I'm not sure. It wasn't question from Srini. I'm not sure if he's. Don't know if he's around. And let's talk about the DID a little bit. Yesterday. Let me just go to the documentation. Yeah, we talked about this DIDs here, and I think it was Srini when this DID came up, and I think it was a yes, and purpose, I ask you kindly, come on, discuss with me. The purpose of the DIDs is simply to find interesting or points of interest where big players are playing or positioning themselves. So we said, I mentioned yesterday, let me find the picture again. I mentioned yesterday that we can detect and track every single dynamic development of an iceberg. It starts somewhere, and then it starts to be filled, or yes, it's transacted at a certain price. I mean, they can lower the price, and they can as well follow the price all the time. So, as Philip mentioned yesterday, we have found some interesting relations or parameters where for ES we have tested only the ES, which are interesting It might be interesting. Let me find the description here. I'm just watching where it is. Yes, it must be in the book for a certain time. It must have at least 150 content in regard to the yes. So we are talking about the yes, and we must maintain a strict risk-reward ratio and stop policy. That means we must not have more than 9 ticks. Let me see the gold. It's still there. So give me a second. I have to add. Now in gold I have defined 100. That means an iceberg which is bigger than larger than 100 lots will be displayed in gold, for example. And if the portion of the refreshing part is 20%, that means 20 contracts, it will appear as an dynamic iceberg in the book. So at the moment, what I see right now in gold is this iceberg was in there 2 hours and 37 minutes, and the first part of this iceberg was traded at 86 or with 86 contracts. So at that point, this price you see very nicely here when you zoom in. The iceberg or the order ID was placed at 944. 944. The first part was traded here. The second part was traded here. The third and so on parts have been traded along the price here at 67.60, and a part of this iceberg remains unfilled. It's not finished yet. You know, the idea is to say, okay, we have tested the DIDs because they are prominent, they are there, they are acting or can act as resistance or support. And we distinguish we distinguish where the size, or either it's an ask or it's a buy by the color. That means red means ask and green means bid. So we have at that point 86 have been traded, and the best idea is to go when you see the IDs to go against them. As well as mentioned, we have only tested ES, not gold, not CL, not other instruments here. because it takes a lot of time, and there must be millions of routines, millions of routines, as Philip mentioned, parameters, which must be tested to find a good set of parameters where we can rely on. And the reason was the best choice is to sell this DIDs when it happens. It was in the book for yes, now it started at 1044, and when you zoom in on your chart, you will see that here they traded it several times with 100 lots here, 100 lots here, icebergs, and this is still not finished. Therefore, we are missing a second or third flag. And the interesting point now, we can conclude following. When we see that, that's a fascinating behavior. When we see that, we can go again, and that means we consider that as an resistance, and then we are trading against it. That means it goes, yes, we have to sell it. So that's what I want to say. The question is, the theoretical question is, what we see very often is that the price, when it remains in the book, and you see this order ID is still in the book, and you can imagine that an order ID, this is done for sure by an algo, and an algo is following strictly its rules. And the algo was programmed by programmers, and it has a logic. And now this guy is still sitting, or this algo is still sitting on 67 here, or 68, 67. Still sitting there, it's still sitting there and waiting and waiting and waiting. The most probable outcome will be that this price is simply trading down and then finding a support, or maybe here by this 100 iceberg at 60, and trading back then to hit and to transact at 67, 68 here. That's the most probable outcome. It can be. Otherwise, if this guy is not expecting the price the price comes back, because price rushes down into 42 here in this liquidity, then he most probably will cancel this iceberg, and you will see a flag here coming up with 86.
I'm wondering, only two contracts left. Why you have to keep it in?
No. That's not known. That's not the point. No, these are not okay. Two contracts. He didn't leave only two contracts in the book. He is expected the next field to be traded with two contracts, and then he can, or the order ID most probably. Excuse me, I have to. The next. Okay. The next order, the next transaction, or the next trade is awaited with 2, and then the next might be 10 or 20 or whatever. You know, that's not that he's awaiting only 2 contracts. We don't know when these 2 contracts are traded. Then he can, or the order ID will be refreshed, and then he wants to sell maybe another 10 or 20 or whatever.
Okay, so
he can add it there more contracts again, and offend this level.
Absolutely. So he awaits the price coming back against him, and then the algo will or the transaction will be only 2 contracts, and then maybe is going to refresh his iceberg, and then with the next level one, or he wants to trade 10. Refreshing again next 10 or 20, and then refreshing again, maybe 5. It depends on. It's really depending on. That means that this is an unfinished iceberg, which is in the book for 2 hours and 43 minutes and 46 seconds. We have already traded 86 contracts, and the next awaited trade is for 2 contracts, and then we will see. Then he has sold 88 contracts in total, and maybe he is up to 100. So that means he wants to sell another 12 contracts here. So, and when given, let's take that where if he wants to sell 100 contracts, then he will close, or the order ID will be closed with 100 contracts, and that's it. Okay, this is the already traded amount on this is the already traded number of contracts, and this is what is expected next to be traded. And then the order will refresh, and then we will see 88 and maybe 12. The order will be refreshed and so on. But he is still confident that the market will trade against him here, and the price is coming up. That's an interesting phenomenon. The only point we don't know is we can conclude that this is a DID or iceberg, and then we can go against it or trade against the iceberg. And if it remains in the book, we can conclude that the price is coming back and trading into 67, for example. The only point we don't exactly know where is the reversal. Where will the price reverse and trade into 67? And sometimes, if the price is really going straight down here into this level, he simply cancels the order, and that's it. What do you want to CL, or what do you want to CL go? Oh, I have. I think the CL contract changed. It looks weird. So, Argo, if you're around, what do you want to see?
Yeah, and then the other contracts like the ZB. Do you have a ZB also?
Yeah. Let me see.
Something.
We can.
As CB is quite liquid. So
where's the ZB? Okay. Yeah, ZB is a great contract. So where I don't see any icebergs right now here. I think hidden beer 1000. We don't. That was an iceberg traded with 1125, but I'm not sure if that wasn't. That wasn't DID, so I can't say. We can say there's nothing. Let's see. So I don't have soybeans. Let's add soybeans. What is soybeans? That's not Z1. What's the actual contract? ZB, ZS. F2, ZS F2. Needs some time to load. And I'm missing CL as well. That's interesting because I think that contract changed. Energy CL. What is the next contract? CL is F2 as well. F2 as well. I'm loading 5 days of CL, and it takes some time. Okay. Takes some time to recalculate everything. We will see in a few minutes. Okay, it takes time as well here. Oh, what's this? Oh, come on. That's really strange. Okay, that might be something. Not sure if that works. Okay, it's recalculating here. It takes a little bit time to get all the data refreshed. Yeah, but let's watch the gold here. It takes time. So it's creeping up into the 87 level. Still there, the idea is still there. Let's see the ES. We don't see any specials here on the CID, ES, excuse me. It was a pre-high. No, nothing here. It's building a bottom in the VIX as well. It's rising. So that was the next high volume traded into 04. I think that was a what was it? At 3. That was I mentioned this levels before. 04, 01 could be really interesting to watch because this is a high. This is a high resistance area. So 47. 1, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 3, 4. Good. So I would like to. I have seen it refresh to many more contract into 1000s or more. Frank, I don't know what you're speaking about. ES or what? I don't know.
I was just saying on the DIDs when you'll see them
okay, yeah.
crashed and they'll hit another 1,000 or whatever, and you see that number grow to a pretty good size number.
You see what happens right now here with the UV is quite interesting. They added liquidity at 1514, so the 90 is still there. But this is as well a good sign, market sign. It's extremely well market sign to watch because that might be the attractor right now at this point. When we started to discuss the ES, everything was bullish. But what is a little bit more, it was where I am concerned about is that this 1590 is still in the book, very hard in the book, and now, while we are talking and discussing and watching the other instruments, this 1540 came up, and that might be as well an attractor. And you see the ES is now coming back, it's trading lower. Yeah, so that was a next nice sweet spot here at 0304 for few points. We missed. Yes, I missed at least. Good. So let's do some recap. And let's go through the documentation for a few minutes. It's not much is left here in the documentation, but I think I should stress it more. So we should go through that. Give me a second to find the entry. We talked about the hidden orders, and you know my opinion about the hidden orders, because I think it is they are highly they're highly subjective. That means they can help, they can show us the resistance and support, but it is I would say highly subjective if we can rely on the hidden orders. We can rely on the DIDs. That could be that could be a valid point to build strategies around DIDs, even algo-driven strategies on Bookmap, and that is what we are just examining and researching if this can work. But if you see iceberg on your chart, then keep first in mind, if you are using SI tracker, then be very cautious, because if you zoom in, you will see a different number than when you zoom out. So it's because of the aggregation. We have chosen a different way because we wanted to see exactly when the iceberg hits a certain price at a certain point, at a certain time. The price at a certain time. Then the iceberg has a certain size, like here of the chart it's 150, and when you zoom in it remains 150. Please keep that in mind when you're working with Bookmap. Bookmap aggregates data. It must aggregate data. That's not a bug. That's simply the necessity. That's the necessity of this market presentation. So the DID conclusion, we have talked about it yesterday. I just want to skip the price dynamics plot. We saw that today in action. It's highly impressive. I know it's hard to, maybe even hard to believe, but watch it. You don't need to trade it necessarily. When you see this more reddish, slide is down, you see this more reddish. That means there's more selling, there's more selling. A little bit more of relief, and then buyers came in, and then there's more selling here, started here. We are measuring the price dynamics based on the market orders hitting the resting liquidity on hit the bid and lift the ask. We haven't, I think it was, who was it, Julas or Chris, I'm not sure, who mentioned that a certain weight should be put in, or should be calculated as well. So I'm not sure if we do that. I don't believe that, but if you have some ideas, please write to support at ttwtrader.com, and we will put it on the to-do list if it's feasible, if it makes sense. We will grab every good idea and realize it in the software.
Walter, Frank, I had a quick question for you. Given the fact that zooming in and out on Bookmap can accentuate the colors, for example, zooming in, you can make that a little bit brighter red than what it really might be. So should the focus really be on the size of the bulge of that line more than the color, because it just depends on how zoomed in you are in or out?
I think it doesn't matter. What we are doing here is simply we are sampling. We are sampling. I mean, the challenge with Bookmap is that Bookmap has or allows certain API accesses. So all these drawings we are doing separately, and we could do that much better, for example, for NT, excuse me, for NinjaTrader, for Sierra Chart, because their API is quite more open and well documented. So what we are doing here, we are sampling the buyers buying and sellings, and yes, drawing. What's it? This little what is this? Little diamonds or whatever. But what you can.
I call them bulges.
Yeah, okay, good. But what you can, and therefore that we have a different, to be very open, we have a different outcome for stocks and cryptos. It does not work with some and most of the stocks, because this is simply a different timing, a different size. We are talking about a different volume, different liquidity, different sizes. So we have optimized that for ES and maybe even NQ. I think someone of you mentioned this week that it doesn't work very perfectly with NQ. It could be because it is a challenge. It is not a fault of Bookmap, but it is a challenge to give to code visual helpers for Bookmap and put them on the chart here. It's much easier to have an idea, to realize a curve or whatever here in the sub pane or sub window or sub pane here of the Bookmap. That's much easier because it's straightforward. But if you want to give a little bit more help to the user and do something creative and put it graphically or depict it on the chart, then it becomes really challenging. So far we have a lot of discussion about this, about how to do that graphically. My dream is simply to get rid of all these numbers here and get it more graphically, so to guide you, to give you more calmness, to give you more silence and on the chart. That's the goal. When you zoom in, you will have a higher density. Look here. you will have a higher density of these charts, and what you should look at is this bullets. The bigger the bullet is, or this graphical design here, the darker it is, the higher the volume is. The higher the higher the volume is, and the higher the volume is, we are facing an exhaustion. The market will make a break. You can go against, if you are a trader, counter trader, you can go against it, and sometimes you will get one ticks, few ticks, and sometimes you will get few points out of it. So these bullets, these big bullets here, or this not big. This spikes here, these are simply high volume indications. So you don't, theoretically, you don't need a subpane. As well, we did it with for the dynamic hidden order plot for the icebergs here, which works extremely well because these are really icebergs. So you know the icebergs does not happen all the time. They happen now and then, and I'm measuring only the native, and then you see, okay, that was a resistance here, there was a resisting iceberg here, that was maybe for sure this, no, that was an absorption, that was an iceberg on ESC, that was an iceberg on BIT supporting that, and so on. But it's more challenging to do this for the price dynamics plot. So if you zoom in, you might get a little bit better picture, but because if you see the screen, we should do that in December more consequently, or at least I should do that more consequently, to jump in and to scalp. That's something for scalpers. That means if you're a scalper, then you can get really nicely 1, 2, 3, 4 points out of the market if the market really approve you and support your idea. You see the next scalp is here. So that's really a nice scalping tool because it shows you who is in control, the buyers or sellers. Now you see what happens here. Here's a sweep. So someone starts to sell here. Let's see. Just a moment, guys. Let's see what whether we can do something here. Nice. Yeah, we have a good correlation in this in the wicks. 886. You see, someone sold actively 1500 and then 886. That means 2400. That would be a good point. You see how UV is trading against 154T. 154T, that means if they are going to hit 154T, then we will see an inverse reaction of the S. And by the way, Frank, it is the same good example here. You see, this is exhaustion. That was the sweep. And that must be yes, that's the information. Now you can counter sweeps. I would be very cautious on that if because it's simply 50-50. Sometimes it's 50%, sometimes it works and sometimes not. So that's the statistical outcome of sweeps, to go counter sweeps. You see here someone, I think the SI tracker is showing a stop run here as well. And you see that here on the chart as well. So yeah, I would like to say it's a kind of your personal trading style, whether you want to scalp and to trade and to see, okay, that's a reddish one, I have to go, that's a greenish, but I would be very cautious. I don't use that because I want to see the trend. I want to see the trend and want to ride the trend. And the trend again, if you remember, high volume traded at 70, that was not a high volume, but you see a very nice divergence trading into this 03, 04. That was an was a 3 institutional level as well. It doesn't matter 03 or 04, and then it traded further down. It comes very nicely with a UV. But you must be very focused. That's really the bad message today. You have to be focused on that because you want to find this sweet spots. So you have to be focused, and that's the really most demanding part of trading. I don't know whether I answered your question, Frank. If not, then please go ahead. Discuss. Say something.
No, that was it. I was just saying that I focus a little bit more on the size more than I do the color because of the zooming in and out, function can change that colorization a little bit. So I focus more on. I want to see that thing get pretty good size, and if it does, then that tells me, that's where that volume's coming in at.
Good point. Yeah, everyone has maybe his own idea how to trade it, but it's really reliable because you see buyers and you see sellers, and that might lead. You see as example here on this slide here, it gives liquidity. It is liquidity, and then the buyers kicks in here, or started to kick in here. That means you have a nice support. And the buyers started to buy slowly. When was it? It was in the evening. That was 12:25 Eastern time or 12:20 Eastern time. That's a good sign. That's really a good combination to say, okay, I'm long. I'm trying along here. So the color is variable, and the sizes of the plot are as well variable, and they are indicating price sensitivity. Price sensitivity means that the price is going up or price is going down. As you mentioned, you see this big bullet here as well. two green spikes of icebergs here. That means exhaustion and icebergs are supporting this level here, as well as liquidity. These are the sweet spots, and I wish we could automate these combinations to give us an alert when it happens, so you can step away from your office or your workspace or your screens and then be alerted when that happens, because this is really a good sweet spot and good try to go long here. So you have that, you have an exhaustion in the sell, you have supportive icebergs here, this two green peaks on the plot here. And that means you have liquidity, and it started to go green, to go green, to go green. And if you are in a trade, then simply manage the trade. See where the next liquidity is at 55, for example. So light colors means less buying or selling activity. Strong highlighted colors means higher buying or selling activity. And strong highlighted plots means high volume traded. So as we discussed with Frank here in the room, and price action comes to a pause on the reversal. This is always about exhaustion. Doesn't matter how do you display that, as a sweep, as a volume spike in the price dynamics plot. An exhaustion means high volume traded, and high volume means simply if the market is not extreme bullish or if the market is not extreme bearish, then it means it comes to a stop. It comes to a break, and this break means pullback. And if the price is really market is bullish, then it will go retrace maybe 1-2 points and then go back and trade higher. We consider that.
So, Brad, another quick question for you. With regards to the price dynamics and then the hidden order plots underneath it, has your team looked at how often that scenario plays out where you get that exhaustion and you get those hidden orders that support that? Is it much like how you have on one of your screens, finished business, where that's a little bit more of a rare occurrence, where it comes back, and I was just curious how often that plot works.
That's an excellent idea. We have not, because we are extremely busy to bring the version 3 as a yes, with sound alerts and all this stuff to the market as an update. But that's an excellent idea, Frank. That's a really excellent idea to get in combination, to find combinations. We have to let me notice that. That's really an excellent idea. Okay, I will take this idea with me. I'm not sure whether we can whether we can do that. I'm not sure. I'm not a developer, but that's an excellent idea to give let me say a combination or combinated alert when that happens. That's what you are suggesting, I suppose.
Yeah, exactly. And granted, I don't know how many times it happens, and I don't know how many times it will go that way and then turn right back around and go against you, because you've got other factors in the market, like what's options, etc. But I would just be curious to see how many times that combination and vice versa, right? I mean, it's going up, you get a big exhaustion green on the upside, and all of a sudden you see a bunch of hidden.
We can have a fast check now. Let me open the Bookmap. Yes, let us have a fast check right now. So not here, but for example here we have a nice idea. Yeah, that was nothing really special. That was an iceberg. Let's have a look here today. That's the opposite one here. You see that happened. Let me go back to the low of the day here. Mm-mm. It's greenish. Then that was on an ask. That was this one, 170.
So you can see where it actually gave you a sell, I mean a buy up, and then of course a hidden order popped up that was a pretty good size, and you got a little bit of a drop off in price, but it wasn't very significant because more than likely, if you went back and looked, I know for a fact if you look at the VXX or the UV, VXY, getting all the alphabet soup of acronyms all mixed together. But anyway, if you go back during that time, you'll see that it was starting to show exhaustion for that instrument, and so then of course it starts to head down. ES is going to start going back up.
Yeah, that's a quite interesting point here, because the combination of icebergs and exhaustion might give us clue where the market is going to trend to. So we have an iceberg here, we have another iceberg here. That was an exhaustion. So they are, in hindsight, we can say they stopped the market here. Although I would say it's an exhausted point here as well. We have an iceberg here at that side, or at this top here. Let me go further here. Whether we see something, it's that. Therefore, I mean, I can draw all the icebergs on the chart. I don't want to do so right now. I mean, you can do that for yourself here. You can see all these icebergs, and you see the market is going up, and they are simply hitting the ask. So what is the meaning? Maybe the liquidity providing, whatever. That's really. So I would here, for example, I would expect to an iceberg on ask. Aspect on ask would confirm that the market is trading down, or will most likely trade down. But you see, these signals are most of the time contradictive. So we have a sell-off here and bottom iceberg here.
Yeah, I would be curious to see if you could match that up with one of those institutional lines where it's coming off and it's either.
Yeah, the point is I have no access to the institutional line. I have only I don't know how to do that, because that's I don't know how to do it. Look here, we have a greenish, that means exhaustion, that they are hitting, but the reversal is only 1 point, or 2 points.
Small amount, exactly.
So it's just an observation.
I don't know how valid it is, but it's just
I don't know either, because I would like, when I see this strong up move, that means you see how this graph is rising. That means strong. That is simply strong volume. By the way, maybe you recall the discussion yesterday. Where is it? Oh, okay, just a moment. The discussion yesterday we have based on this, when the market goes straight up, so maybe 90 degrees up, it's not 90, but 80 degrees up, then that's a strong up move, and this strong up move will come to a break, will come to a pause, because it goes maybe 4 or 5 points and then it stalls. And that is valid for every single instrument. It doesn't matter what. Let's see, gold. No. Let's see, gold. Yeah, look here. You have literally the absolute same behavior, and we can conclude the same. We make the same conclusions. Someone is selling, sweeps. Why? I don't know why. And the market goes down very steep, and as well very steep up again. And that means if they coming to a break, to pause, when they traded. What is 56, 54 into 66, so 10 points, 12 points here. That means this steepness must be simply corrected, or at least the market goes in a sideways move, and we can read out of the steepness, which is also indicated by the price dynamics. This diamonds, or this spikes here are exactly indicated as exaggeration in the market, and every exaggeration in the market leads to a break. Okay, let's go back.
Walter, speaking of some enhancements, and just another idea, just to give you. I mean, you got a pretty capable team, right, to make these things. So why can't you think of a correlation flag? For example, what I mean is, right now, you're in ES. If we have a thing that is with the Wix, and why don't you show on
Yeah,
the
yeah,
ES?
yeah. We have.
You got my point,
Excuse me.
right?
I'm laughing because that's exactly what we are thinking about to do so, because that's really that will be absolutely awesome to. That would be absolutely awesome to have that correlations for NQ and for ES, for example. The point is, yes, we are thinking about that. Not really, don't know how to realize, because we can't use simply the data feed from let's say Rhythmic or whatever, and then distribute or build in the VIX, the UV and VXX, and into how to say, into a correlated indicator or correlation or whatever. That's really a point we are thinking about how to do that, because we are not allowed to use external data and then put them on the chart. I mean,